In our Sunrise Smart Start, new this morning, we're headed over to Still Meadow Way in Williamson overnight.
Firefighters working on a large house fire there. Multiple companies responding. Little information at this hour. We'll have updates here on the air and online at rochesterfirst.com.
Well, happening today, Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter set to testify in D.C. before the House of Representatives Rules Committee. There he will discuss responsible commercial firearms management, positive gun ownership, and what he calls ideas to incentivize, not criminalize.
I'm neutral. You know, the fact is I have input. I hope I get asked a lot of questions because I have experience. I know at the end user level what we need in law enforcement is tools. I have friends that are firearms dealers and firearms store owners, so I also need to keep them, you know, from feeling like the bad guys in this story.
Sheriff Baxter says he will also offer input to the subcommittee regarding gaps in current laws that hinder the ability of police to take action to reduce the number of guns entering the legal market.
James Gilbert, folks heading out the door will feel kind of typical feel at this hour, but it's what happens later in the day that folks should be aware of, right?
Yes, certainly. I mean, this is a number we haven't seen in over a week, so in a relative sense, it really will feel significantly warmer than we have been. Mid to upper 80s this afternoon. You may have been able last week to get away with the Wednesday evening golf round without breaking a sweat, but today you go outside and you break a sweat. Humidity on the rise there as well. That's going to tease for some storms tonight and into tomorrow. Some of those could be strong. We'll have a last look at the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Mark Elliott.
James, thank you. Checking the roads again with our sunrise traffic. Just that one accident still lingering at this hour. It's in Rochester, Lexington, and Polaris Street. Live view of 490 on the west side. No issues there. 390 and 590 up to speed as well.
Well, a new budget for the city of Rochester has passed.
Over $600 million in total. That's up 9% from a year ago. But the headline is what City Council did not pass. Erica DeCoste live this morning with more on this. Erica, good morning.
Good morning, and that's exactly right. The City Council turning down Rochester City School District's budget. We're going to break all of this down for you, but let's first start with the mayor's budget. The only no votes coming from 3 council members, Mary Lupien, Stanley Martin, and Kim Smith, saying they wanted more resources for the community. Mayor Evans says his budget does plan for that, with a big focus on housing, public safety, small businesses, and infrastructure. Also important to note from last night, the Police Accountability Board will be getting half of their budget. The other half will be given in December pending a review. Some council members say they're concerned with current inner conflicts among board members there and say there hasn't been enough productivity. And finally, RCSD's budget voted down. Some council members say the budget is, quote, distant from reality. But first, let's hear from Mayor Evans on the city's budget.
I think when you look at the investments in this budget, you got to remember 63 cents of every dollar of this budget goes to education. That is a huge outlay in this budget. 8% increase in violence reduction programs, 8% increase in recreation programs, almost a double-digit increase in library spending. We survey the community. You have to remember, when you talk about the community, we talk to 7,000 people on a telephone town hall.
Now, as for RCSD's budget, Council Member Mitch Gruber says it was too vague, the plans they were using for federal money. And then again, also voted on outside of the budget, Juneteenth becoming a paid holiday, and Indigenous Peoples Day will be replacing Columbus Day in October. In Rochester, Erica DeCoste, News 8.
All right, Erica, thank you. And we should mention that the city school district budget will still take effect despite that no vote from City Council, which is largely symbolic because the city does not have the legal authority to amend the city school budget.
Well, in developing news, Rochester police responding to several calls about a man with a gun at East High School yesterday. Now, no shots were fired, but Rochester police asking for the public's help in finding the suspect. Officials say around 100 people were reportedly fighting outside. School leaders did put the school into lockdown as police investigated. Officials say several different groups were fighting as school let out, which then led to the male with the gun getting involved.
Yesterday, marking 1 month since the mass shooting at a Tops in Buffalo killed 10 people and injured 3 others. City leaders, community members, and victims' families gathering for a moment of silence. Police say the suspect, an 18-year-old man, targeting black customers inside that store, calling it an act of racially motivated violent extremism. The suspect is facing more than 24 charges, including domestic terrorism. Buffalo's mayor talking about the community response.
Since the attack, millions of dollars have been raised by the community at large and businesses to support families, survivors, and the Jefferson Avenue community. That generosity continues today. This is just the beginning as we work together to address all of our issues and concerns in this community.
And again, Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown there. To some national news now, in a move to slow inflation. Today, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce new higher interest rates.
The highly anticipated announcement comes as inflation rates reach a 40-year high and are showing little sign of stopping. Our Washington correspondent Raquel Martin joins us now.
Wednesday, the Federal Reserve is set to announce new higher interest rates in an effort to slow skyrocketing inflation.
Inflation, it's sapping the strength of a lot of families.
Tuesday, in a speech to labor leaders in Philadelphia, President Biden acknowledged the price surge impacting Americans, but blamed Republicans for not helping with solutions.
Doing everything they can to stop my plans to bring down costs on ordinary families.
Republicans on Capitol Hill blame President Biden and Democratic spending for the crisis.
Washington Democrats have been wrong about inflation from the very beginning.
Top GOP Senator John Thune says that's why Republicans are rejecting the economic policies President Biden is demanding.
We have a very different vision about how to get the economy growing, expanding, get inflation under control. It's not of more big government.
In the meantime, Wall Street is in turmoil as investors anticipate the Fed to significantly spike interest rates to try and bring spending and borrowing to a stall.
Be worried.
Republicans like Arizona Congressman David Schweikart says he fears that the Fed goes too high too fast.
They're going to crush mid-market and small businesses.
And the Fed is expected to make its announcement at 2:30 p.m.
All right, let's find out what folks are talking about at the water cooler this morning. The lowest full moon lighting up the sky last night. What a sight. The strawberry supermoon, as it's called. It's when the moon is closest to the Earth than at any other point during the year. It's the strawberry moon, according to Native American tradition, because it's the full moon during the strawberry harvest.
James, you've been talking about that moon a little bit.
Yes.
You take that beautiful video?
No, I do not have the equipment to do that. Or the skill, to be honest.
Yeah, very much so.
It takes a lot of skill. A good tip for you, make sure you have something in the foreground that you can put the moon to. If you just take a picture of the moon, sure. All right, bus stop forecast. Hey, good luck to those kids taking their Regents today.
Yes.
Temperatures in the 80s when the test is done.
All right, James, thank you. And thank you so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.